What's up, guys? I'm back. I got no intro, but I just wanted to get right into it because it's late and I work in the morning. Um, so my usual co-host that's with me on Monday nights for Raw. He's having some internet issues. Like he's having trouble connecting, so he won't be able to record with me tonight. So I'm gonna be flying this one solo, as well as NXT tomorrow, like every Tuesday for NXT. Well, we should be both back together hopefully on Friday for SmackDown. So you're gonna hear just me tonight and tomorrow, just for these two episodes. So we're back. This is I'm here for Raw tonight, June 29th. I'm actually recording this the night of Raw. Usually for Raw we're usually on track. Like sometimes for NXT and SmackDown we'll record like a day after. But for Raw, we usually get it done the night of, just to get it out of the way. And because I work in the morning, I can't really record the next. And I also work on Tuesdays the day after, so I can't really record. I don't really have time to record the next day. That's why we try to get Raw out the same night. So no difference here. Once again, I'm here to the night of Raw. So yeah. It's Raw episode June 29th. They were in New Jersey. Only 2 hours away from me, and here in New York. So actually kind of close. But anyway, even though they're in New Jersey, I don't know why it was still a different time zone, which is weird. Because for us here in New York, every week it's 8 p.m. Like, I've lived in New York my entire life, so for the last 25 years I've been alive on this earth, Raw has always been 8 p.m. forever here. So and New Jersey is the same time zone as us, so it's kind of weird to me. Like, they have the same time zone, but for some reason tonight for New Jersey they actually started Raw at 6 p.m. when, like, it's usually 8 p.m. I don't know, it was weird. But anyway, enough of me babbling. I gotta get to the first segment of the show. I would say this episode overall, I think the best two things on the show was the first thing that opened the show and the last thing that may have ended it. Which, I mean, that's honestly like the best. Like, if that's always for the best. Like, when it comes to a wrestling show episode, you always want to start it and finish it with the best thing, so you could start strong and end strong. Start the episode strong, end the episode with something strong. So you go into the show getting people excited right away to start, and you end off with people getting excited, being like, can't wait to see what happens next week. So that's perfect. I love when that happens. The first thing was Oba and Femi, and the last thing was Roman and his opponent for SummerSlam, which we will get to. I don't want to spoil it. I'll say that when we get there. I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, it's time for me to get into it. I'm gonna set the first segment now, so let's get started. Where's my controller? Sorry. All right, let's get started.
This match is underway.
All right, the first segment of the show. So we start with a recap of Night of Champions. Then the show kicks off with Oba Femi, the new King of the Ring. 2026 King of the Ring. Oba Femi makes his entrance and gets on the mic. King Oba's here. Oba cans come down, and Oba says, of course, quite the reaction. A reception befitting of a ruler, but now they have to give him a reception befitting of a king, and he's because he's your 2026 King of the Ring. He says he told Jey Uso that Destiny was on his side, and he didn't believe it. Sorry, I was checking my notes. And he didn't believe until he stepped in the ring with him, and now he's a believer. But Destiny is not finished with him, and she's still very kind. So a choice has to be made, and then Brock Lesnar enters with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's back from his injury he's been selling since getting speared by Braun Breaker. Paul's back. Brock actually cuts a promo here before Paul Heyman does, which is surprising but nice. Brock, honestly, Brock usually doesn't. If he even admits he's not usually great on the mic. He even admits in his promo that he's not. But this is actually a really good promo from him. I was actually impressed by this. Brock gets in the ring and he gets a mic. He introduces Oba as King in the Ring, and he says he apologizes because he hasn't watched the show. He says he hasn't watched the show. Everybody knows he hasn't watched the show, he says. But congratulations, that's a hell of a feat. He was King of the Ring himself a long time ago, and since he hasn't watched the show, Paul Heyman had to tell him about it, and he informs him he's got a big decision to make. He also tells him that Oba likes to call him names when he's not here. When he's not here, Oba calls Brock a coward, bitch, and he cut a great promo, which he never really could. That's why he's got Paul Heyman here. So Brock even admits He ultimately doesn't cut a great promo and Paul helps him out. That was kind of funny. But then he says, but you know what they say. Talk shit, get hit. And with that, Brock kicks Oba in the gentleman's area and lays him out for an F5. They crouch in one more time, but Brock and Paul leave. And Paul congratulates Brock on a great promo. Before Brock and Paul get to the stage, Oba gets to his feet and gets on the mic. He says this is what Brock always does. Shows up, F5s, and leaves. Brock said he called names behind his back, but guess what? Brock is right in front of him, and he's still a bitch. Here's the deal. They can keep playing cat and rat, or they can settle the score. Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Brock Lesnar accepts on one occasion. Hell in the Cell. That's going to be fun. I can't wait. Then we go backstage. Paul Heyman's chatting with Raw GM Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce says, you want a little heads up, but Paul says SummerSlam has the match of all time as a headliner now. Brock and Oba in Hell in the Cell. And Paul just shakes his hand. Austin Theory comes in saying that he didn't know Paul was back, and now he has to come to ringside for his match and everything, but he's not answering his calls, and Paul says, well, now you know, and he leaves. Adam Pearce comes into Oba Femi and asks him if he knows what he just did. Oba says, I know I got a title match from winning King of the Ring at SummerSlam, but he says the title will be there for him later. It just needs to end now. Duh. So basically, he was still one King of the Ring, he gets the title shot, but he wants to save that for later. He wants to end Brock first and get this out of the way. So this is the finale of their feud. This will be the last match. They are tied 1-on-1. This will be the finale of their feud. Now, I gotta set the first match of the show. First match of the show. Here we go. WWE Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio versus Ethan Page. This was a fun match. Didn't like the winner though. Ethan Page is the new rising star. I think he should have won, but Rey Mysterio won with the frog splash. And that was literally it. There wasn't much to explain here. It was just a really good match. Then, after this, Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonagh of the Judgement Day are in Danhausen's lab trying to find their money. Dominic pulls a picture from an alternative cloning machine with a label on it. It says, to Danhausen from the Knicks. And they decide to get some revenge in order to get their money back. And that was it. I can have the next segment now. Alright. Next thing. Joe Hendry's in the ring with a live music performance concert. He gets on the mic and asks if people are ready for a concert, and he says he can't begin without a special guest. The new World Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits. The Street Profits come out. Montez Ford gets a mic and thanks to everyone for all the love they show over the last week and says it was unexpected. And, sorry guys, you deserve a chance to go up, and he says they have a few people to thank. First and foremost, the WWE Universe for always believing the profits are up. He says he's sweating and given the heavy sparkling suit he's wearing, yeah, that'll happen. Second, he has to thank the greatest of all time, Seth Rollins. Angelo Dawkins says thanks to Seth. Karma called for the vision, and they're in the rearview mirror now. Montez Ford says last but not least, they gotta thank the main man they came to see tonight, Joe Hendry. Last week it was beautiful. Joe showing up in the right moment in the tag team title match, everyone coming together like a beautiful song. Dawkins says he thinks it sounded like this, and Henry starts playing a song about the new tag champs, and then pretty much they get interrupted by Austin Theory. Austin Theory enters. He says the thieves that stole his tag team titles are in the ring. And what was that, Joe? You mentioned the same scene that he beat at Mania. They're all jumping around celebrated, but Theory is confused because he talked to Adam Pearce. Next week Theory says next week they're getting a rematch for the tag team titles. Their rematch is happening. And Joe Dawkins says Braun Breaker is beat up, and does he really want to get the big dog beat up again? Theory says next week the dog will be off the leash, and he appreciates Joe making his last song about him tonight because he's going to destroy his ass in the ring tonight. Joe Henry scoffs and says Joe says no, and since he interrupted the concert, they might as well do it right here, right now. So now we go to a match. I forgot to set up in the game. I apologize. Joe Henry versus Austin Theory. It's okay. It was quick anyway. Joe Henry won the match. Like that was it. He just won. So next we go to Raquel Rodriguez of the Judgment Day backstage, putting herself over to Adam Pearce, and she demands a women's Intercontinental Championship match. Pearce says she's not the only one in line. Raquel asks who else is. Pearce says Maxine Dupree is. So Raquel says she wants to have that Bob Michelle Barbie tonight, and Pearce ends up making a number one guitar match between the two of them tonight. Then the two other members of the Judgment Day come in. Women's World Champion Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez come in. Liv asks if she got her title match, and Raquel says she's got to go through Maxine first. So Liv reassures her she's got it. She spirals all. And Raquel says the boys can handle themselves, and Liv doesn't have to worry about IYO SKY. And that was pretty much that segment. Now on to the next thing. All right, the next thing. IYO SKY, the new queen of the ring, comes out for her entrance to have with a mic to talk. IYO says he's super duper grateful to come back to the U.S. as the queen. He thanks everybody before saying she beat Liv Morgan this weekend at SummerSlam. He'll beat her again and beat the Women's World Champion again. Then Liv Morgan comes out. She enters. Liv gets on the mic from the stage and says he thought IYO was better than bragging, like he beat her fair and square, and it's making her sick. She claims the only reason she lost is because she got cursed by Danhausen, and that things will be different at SummerSlam. And why? Because now she doesn't respect IYO because she pissed her off. Now she'll remind everyone what happens when you get on her bad side. Finn Balor, turned on by his own friends. Stephanie Vaquer, when the last time we saw her. And Rhea Ripley. She took everything from her, and she hasn't been the same ever since. So the SummerSlam will destroy IYO and prove why she's the greatest Women's World Champion of all time. Until then, IYO SKY's in a whole lot of trouble, and as Liv Morgan says, as Raquel and Roxanne surround IYO by the apron. IYO basically tries to fight them, but pretty much as IYO's attacking them, Liv hits up IYO from sorry, stuttering here. Basically, they start beating her up. Roxanne and Raquel are beating IYO up. Liv laughs and locks IYO in the half crab, like a Boston crab. And Liv screaming, IYO actually taps in the submission. She taps out. And Liv basically holds the title high, smiling, and then gets one more cheap shot, a little kick in the ribs, and that was it. So yeah, it was a solid angle. Now I guess up next match though. Alright, next match is LA Knight. Whoops. Sorry guys. LA Knight versus Jimmy Uso. Toward the end of the match, it was a solid match, but not much really happened toward the end. Toward the end, where's Jay come out? Jey Uso, Jay. Pretty much, oh yeah, Jay's on commentary for this match. Okay, I was about to say that. Jay's on commentary during this match. Pretty much toward the end, he pretty much distracts LA Knight like a heel would, and Jimmy Uso pins LA Knight and wins. Post-match, LA Knight attacks Jimmy, but Jay attacks him and beats LA Knight down in the corner. Then Solo Sikoa's here again. He hits a Samoa Spike on Jimmy before beating up a retreat before Jay could see him. LA Knight takes Jey Uso out from behind, leaves him out to him with the BFT. Then we get footage from the Night of Champions post-show of Gunther attacking SmackDown GM Nick Aldis, accusing him of being hostile and to get into a showing match. Mega Cole informs us Nick Aldis has been put on administrative leave as a result of this. And Raw GM Adam Pearce will handle both shows for the time being. I think Nick Aldis might be taking time off to train for in-ring, and he may have a match with Gunther at SummerSlam. My prediction. We see Chad Gable in the back and he gets a fist pump from Intercontinental Champion Penta, and then Uso's in the back of Jacob Faucio asking where he's been all night. Jacob says, how many times will it take before they learn he takes orders from Roman, not them. And he's going to SmackDown, OTC's orders. Jay says he's also going to SmackDown to issue a challenge to Cody Rhodes since he doesn't have a challenger for SummerSlam, and Jimmy says they should ride together, and Jacob they suggest Jacob posts to the group chat, and then Jacob walks away. Then we get a video promo from Lyra Valkyria, and she turned heel last week on Bayley. Lyra is in a pre-tape promo. She complains about how unfair it is that she let her anchor get to her, and because of to get to her one time, now she got anchored one time, and now everyone's mad at her. She's not proud of what she did at SummerSlam, but she's not going to apologize for it. She was trying to bring Bayley up to her level as the first women's Intercontinental Champion.
This is going to pay dividends.
Just there's a gap between who she is and who she could be, and then the champion should close the gap just a little. Good stuff. Then Maxine Dupree walked past Chad Gable in the back, and then Maxine says, She meant every word she said last week, but she's sorry for how she handled it, and his apology means something. And Chad says, "Don't worry about it. You don't need to. She doesn't need to accept his apology. She needs to focus on her match." Now I gotta step next thing. All right, Maxine Dupree versus Raquel Rodriguez and Women's Intercontinental Championship Network of Terrence match to challenge Soruka for the belt. It was a pretty good match, and Raquel Rodriguez wins. Fun stuff. She wins, so she's now number one contender for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. We're going to get Soruka and Raquel at some point. Then backstage, Danhausen is mad because his lab's a mess, and someone took his Nick's gift. Liv Morgan appears and says this is what he gets. Danhausen's confused. She explains her grievances, and Danhausen does a little, "Oh yeah," before she says Judgement Day will make his life a living hell. Unless he gets back the money he took from Dominic and JD and uncurse her. And she gets all mad and leaves. And that was the end of that segment. Now I gotta set up the next match. Next we got Chad Gable versus Judgment Day's JD McDonagh. Very fun match, except it's the Chad Gable match. Chad Gable's not a bad wrestler at all. He's always at bangers. So Chad goes outside. At one point, Dominic Mysterio gets distracted and he confronts Dominic. Pretty much. That's really it. Pretty much toward the end. We're strolling, sorry guys. And then toward the end, Chad Gable wins by the ankle lock like he has been. Post match, Dominic and JD go check out the suitcase full of human monies that Danhausen left at ringside, and it blows up in their faces. Danhausen comes in, takes his Nick's jersey back from Dom, and runs back to the stage, only for Raquel Rodriguez to blindside him in the face and take the jersey back. And then Dominic used the jersey to wipe his face. Then we go backstage. Maxine Dupree's icing her head backstage when Austin Theory comes in. He asks what that was. She says she thought she was ready for Raquel, and he says not that. Well, she said to Chad Gable. She says it's complicated, and he says it's not. And if she wants to go down that road, maybe this isn't working out. He leaves. Akira Tozawa and Otis come in to check on her. She says she doesn't know if she's okay at all. She walks off all upset. Now, this main event segment was the best thing on the show. Let's set it up. Alright, this main event was a promo. The main event, the World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns makes his entrance with Jacob Fatu at his side. Roman asks Atlanta to acknowledge him, and before he even gets to talk again after that, Seth Rollins enters. Yes. Yes. You heard me right. Roman and Seth in the same ring together. Seth gets in the ring and squares up with Roman, and they have a nice little silent stare down before Seth says, "Hey, brother." He says, for 14 years, they've been tied together, from this moment all the way back to the formation of the Shield. Call it destiny, call it what you like. He thinks it's very fitting that they're here in this moment in Atlantic City, and Roman is in possession of a title that belongs to him. And yes, Seth says again, calling him his brother, it's time to collect. Roman scoffs and says, Seth must be confused because he's the back of the line, hasn't done anything of late to earn shots at the Tribal Chief. Seth tells him that he can play that game with anyone else, but when it comes to Roman, he's always in the front of the line. Because for everything Roman has done, he owes him. For everything he's become and he is, Seth owns him. He owns his ass in the ring, in the mic, in his heart, and he has for the last 14 years. WrestleMania 41, Seth pinned him in the center of the ring and took his wise man. WrestleMania 40, he sacrificed himself so Cody Rhodes could end Roman's reign of terror. Speaking of that reign of terror, for 4 years, Roman Reigns was unstoppable and beat everybody except for one person, and that person was Seth Rollins. He can walk it back even further if you like, to the greatest cash in the history of WrestleMania, where he took Roman's main event, and he couldn't do a thing about it. He's owned Roman since the day he put a steel chair in his back and ended the Shield. He's not here to ask for anything. As a matter of fact, he's here to give Roman something that nobody else in the world can give him. Everything that Roman says he is, and these people believe he is, he's that great. He's done it all. He's won every title there is to win. Main events is every show there's to main event. His WrestleMania main event record will never ever be broken, but there's one thing in his career he's never been able to do, and that's beat Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is here to give him that opportunity, and he'll be real with Roman, with everybody right now. This may be his last chance to close that loop. There's not that much time left. There's a lot less time ahead of them than what is behind them. This might be the last time they ever have a one-on-one match. They came into this company together, came through that crowd, knocked down that door, kicked the old generation to the curb, made this place their own. They created the greatest generation in the history of the industry, the two of them. They did that together. But they're much closer to the end than the beginning. And just like they came in young and hungry, this new generation coming in rises to the same thing to them. And so he says it again. Whoever the last chance to do this dance. Roman's gonna go down as one of the greatest of all time, a guaranteed Hall of Famer. Hell, he should probably get a Hall of Fame show entirely to himself, and Seth will probably be there to induct him. But if he doesn't accept this challenge, he'll never be rid of the ghost of Seth Rollins. So what do you say, brother, for old time's sake? Roman says it's been a long time since he's heard any truth come out of his little brother's mouth, but he's right. He doesn't want to beat Seth, he needs to beat him. And at SummerSlam he will beat him, so he accepts the challenge, little brother. Roman holds the title up, and he and Seth stare each other down, and that's the end of the show. Best thing on the show, and I can't wait for this match. Not excited for Jey Uso and Sami Zayn, I'll tell you that, but Roman and Seth, take my freaking money. It was supposed to be the main event earlier this year. We're now doing it at SummerSlam. I can't wait. I don't even have any news, guys, I'm sorry, so we're going to end the year. Thanks for watching. Well, a show, and I'll be back tomorrow for NXT. I'm out. Yeah, peace.